see, I almost died. Like, I thought that was it. I could not move for a couple of months, and I knew that I've become bedridden, and that is my life. Like, there's no going back. Thank you to each and every one of you who checked up on me last week because I did not post a video on Wednesday. I was having some issues with my account, and that is why I didn't post, but now they're sorted out and we're back to business. Yes, guys. So today I'm going to be telling you the story of how I almost died. Yes. So this was sometime in 2008, 2009, you guess. So what happened was I lost my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. So we went for the funeral. Everything happened in her house in Tiko in Cameroon. So we went for the funeral. Everything went on well and things like that. So I think on the day of the funeral, a cousin of mine kept passing out and all that. Like, she was really affected by the whole thing, as should be. So she's not strong enough. She was passing out and everything, and then later on she had some complications and we lost her too. We're planning for the funeral and everything. The day came and we went for the wake keep. So by then, you know, there's wake keep with cups and everything. So we went there, everything was going on smoothly, everything went fine. And then later that, it was like the early hours or later that night, like almost like 11 p.m, 12, like that. So my dad told us that, okay, we should go home and sleep because we have to wake up the next day early in the morning and come for the burial and everything that follows after that. So we had to go home and sleep. That was myself, my elder sister, my elder sister's nanny, and a cousin. So we left and went home. When we got home, okay, let me just make you understand. My father's house has a very, very big gate, like a massive gate. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it could be like a whole wall. It looks like a whole wall. That's how big it is. And then it is very, very heavy. And then it has something like a handle where you have to hold, like a rail, something like that, where you have to hold and then you push. Okay. So when we got home, we had to open the gate and close because we sleep with the gate closed and all. It's always closed. So we had to open the gate and close. Now, my father did not come with us back home that night because he had to stay there and arrange things and ensure that things went on well because he's the head of the family and all that, you get. So when we went back home, we went to bed, and then he had to come the next day, which was a Saturday. He told us that he would come very early in the morning on that Saturday to bathe, rest a little, and then we'll all go out for the funeral proper, like the burial and everything. So we knew that, okay, we're expecting him early in the morning. That morning, but we're so tired. You know everything that goes into planning a funeral in Cameroon, right? Or in Africa. There's so much. You have to serve people with food. You have to ensure that these people are sitting properly. These ones are doing this. Like, there's so much that goes into it. So we're really very tired. So when we went, we slept, and then he came now in the morning. That was Saturday morning. He came and he was honing out of the gate. So we had to go and open the gate. So I tapped my cousin. I was like, Carl, daddy is here, let's go and open the gate. He was so tired, he was fast asleep. My elder sister was in her room, but I think she knew that we were going to open the gate and three of us could handle opening the gate, so she not bothered to come out. We left, myself and my sister's babysitter, her name is Electa. So myself and Electa left to see if we could push the gate, because sometimes normally two people can just, it has a rail, it has tires, it has wheels and everything, so normally it should just slide through. So Electa and myself went there to see if we could push the gate and things like that, so my father could come in. Okay, when we went to push the gate, my friends, I was standing in the middle of the gate holding the handle or the bars to push, while Electa was standing at the side to help push the gate too. So immediately we moved the gate for a very short distance, like maybe 1 meter or something. Like, I don't know, I cannot explain to you how fast it happened, right? But I just realized that I saw the gate, like it disconnected from the top part where it had been welded and the whole rail was and everything was. I saw that massive gate falling towards me. Like, in that moment, a lot of things came to my mind, like, should I run? Should I stand there? But you know, it's a very big gate, and the way it's falling, its weight is coming down like 100% at once. So in that moment, the only thing I could do was turn my back so that it doesn't fall, turn my back to the gate so that it doesn't fall on my face, because I was facing the gate. So I turned immediately, and even before I could turn, like, the gate came crushing down on Electa and myself. Okay, so what I forgot to tell you was that that part just like in front of the gate, it was not cemented, or it was not smooth. Like, there were actually rocks, small rocks, big ones. Like, you know the way Boya is stony, and then we stay in support, you know the stone that is there. Like, so when that gate fell on me, what actually happened was it slammed me against the rocks. Like, I was sandwiched between the rocks and the gate. That's how bad it was. Like, if you look, like, this part of my chin, I've not recovered totally from it. Like, I still have the swelling there. Like, it was terrible. So getting back to it, like, immediately the gate fell on us. Hey, you remember that my dad was outside, like, the gate had fallen. He saw the gate falling on us, and due to that confusion, okay, the path to getting into the house is not smooth. It's not like it's a straight path. It's slopey. It's very slopey. So when we open the gate, he has to come down a slope and then into the house now, which is a straight path. So he was on that slope, and due to all that confusion and everything, when he saw the gate fall on us, he immediately jumped out of the car, not remembering that the car was still on and it was free. Oh my God. So that car now started rolling down that slope. My father had to jump back into the car, pull up the handbrakes, and then rush to come and see whether he could help us. My father alone cannot carry that gate. My elder sister had heard the sound of the gate and had come out of her room. My cousin had come. The funny thing is, the sound of that gate woke up everybody in that neighborhood. Like, immediately they heard the gate fall. People started running from their houses to come and see what made that noise, like what had happened. So within the space of, let's say, 5 minutes, there was a whole crowd there. There were boys, women, and everything. I was in my nightwear. Electa was in her nightwear. We're under the gate. Now, let me tell you what's more funny part of this story. This thing was paining me, but I was under this. Now, it's funny now anyway. I was under this gate here, and like, I thought that I had died. And then in my heart, I was like, hey, Papa God, if I've died, it means that please just send my mother to come and welcome me. If you don't know, I lost my mom too. So I was like, that's a story for another day. I was like, just send my mother to come and welcome me. And then in my head, I'm like, hey, God, if I open my eye now, will I be in front of the pearly gates? Like, like, where exactly am I? Every place was so dark. So I opened one of my eyes like this, and I was spying. I was touching, like, where am I? Only to discover that I'm still in front of my father's house, under that gate. The pain came rushing like a wild wind. Like, the pain hit me from, immediately it happened. It went from 0 to 100 real quick. That's when the pain hit me. I could hear people calling my name from a distance. I could hear people shouting, Gils, Gils, can you hear me, Gils? Okay, you'll be wondering what was happening to Electa. Electa was at the side of the gate. So what happened was the gate just hit her, and that was it. It wasn't really anything very serious for her. She felt pain and all that, but they easily pulled her out. So for myself, the gate, like, it pressed the hell out of me. I could hear people shouting from a distance, like, Gils, Gils, Gils. Could I answer? Okay, so the only thing that really saved me was I've always been on the thicker side, you get. So my butt and everything acted like a cushion when the gate fell on me. But now remember that I told you that the gate had some kind of a pillar or a handle or something like that, right? That thing is made of pure metal, like it is so heavy. So what happened was the gate fell on me, yes, but that part hit my waist. The boys that came and my dad and everybody, they struggled and they lifted the gate a little bit because they could not actually lift the gate totally. So they had to lift the gate a little bit, and they expected me to crawl out of that small part that they had created. But fam, what they did not know was that your girl could not move. Like, my waist was broken. Everything was, my legs, everything, I could not move. So they kept like, Gils, try to move, try to move. I could not talk, nothing. Water was just coming out of my eyes. I was feeling so much pain. When they realized that I could not move, what they had to do was send their hand under and try to pull me. Remember that I told you that that place was all stone, gravel, all kind of rough thing be there for that front door. So they had to send their hand under and pull me. God, if that pain was on 1,000, it went from 1,000 to 1 million real quick. Like, the fact that they had to pull me, had to exert pressure on my waist, my legs, and then my whole body from my face to my toes, had to scrub on that floor. So I had bruises, I had wounds, like all over. They struggled and pulled me out of the thing. Immediately they pulled me out. Like, my nightwear that I was wearing was torn. I was looking terrible, but like, they did not even care. You know the way we sleep, like, I had no bra on, nothing. What they had to do was just rush into the house and bring some free thing. My sister just ran in, they brought some free. I don't even know what I went to the hospital in. Like, I cannot even remember. I just realized that they brought something and threw over my head. Like, after tearing the nightgown out of me, they brought something and threw over. They didn't even care whether those boys were there seeing me. Like, then it was nobody's priority. You get what I'm saying? Like, the priority was saving my life. Yes. So they threw the free whatever over me, and those boys had to carry me. Oh my God, if I tell you that the pain went from 100 to 1 million, this time around it went from 1 million to 10 million for them to lift me. You know that lying down, right, I was on a straight or a flat surface, but now for them to lift me, they have to put me at an angle, or they will not be able to carry me properly. Even if they had to carry me straight, it would not be as straight as just lying down. So they had to exert pressure on my waist, on the pain that I felt. Like, I knew that it could not get any worse. I used to hear that childbirth was painful, but in my head I was like, if childbirth, they say it's painful, then the people have not tasted this one that I'm going through. Hi God, the pain. They carried me, put me in the car. My father used like 2 minutes from our house to General Hospital. From the junction, he started horning, like, anybody on the road, just leave, just leave, just leave. At the gate, they just opened the gate and we went in. Nurses ran out, like they brought a stretcher. You know that when the accident just happened, right, it was a little easier, but now I've been in a certain position so for them to carry me and put me on a stretcher again, they pain. God. They carried me, put me on that stretcher, went in, rushed, made up a bed, put me on the bed. The doctor came, checked everything, gave me some injections, painkillers. Like, I was in a whole lot of pain. They just gave me some medicine to sleep because I was crying 24/7. So my elder sister had called some of my friends. She called Trina. Oh my God. Trina ran to the hospital with her mom. Like, they came there, as I was just crying. I could not talk. Trina was crying. She was like, Bo, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I was like, Bo, call Terence. She was like, oh yeah, she called Terence. Terence came to the hospital. When I saw Terence, I just started crying. In my head, you know that kind of, I'm dating this guy, but with this kind of situation now where, hey, whether I creep with man don't be, would this uncle stay or would this uncle run away? I say, I don't want to be with a girl who has one leg or who cannot walk or who is, I would need to be pushing on a wheelchair. You understand? I was so vain. Like, to me, it meant something to him, but to him, it did not mean anything. He just came there, like, he was like, don't cry. Me, I was crying for my own reason, so I said, okay, this boy has left me, oh, this is it. I said, I was crying. I was like, oh, Papa God, now I'm a cripple. I'm not like a cripple, I'm crippled, I'm going to be single. Like, it was, see, now it's funny, and then it was not funny. A girl was crying real tears. So, I stayed in the hospital for a while. All my friends came, family came, they were consoling me. And so fast forward now, I had to go and do an x-ray for them to see what was happening. Late Dr. Chwanga said I should do an x-ray to see what was happening. I did the x-ray, he checked. So they were giving me medicines. But now I could still not move. See, it was as bad as I was lying just on my back. That's how bad it was. Everybody was scared that I was going to have bed sores. Like, it was terrible. Trina and my elder sister were the ones sleeping with me in the hospital. Like, oh my God, I cannot explain how grateful I am to both of them. They practically slept on the cold floor, stayed with me in the hospital. Oh, Auntie Grace, like my family members say, I cannot trade them for anything in this world. My father, my father that was claiming, oh, tough man. Men don't cry. My father cried. He went behind the wall there, cried. See, he thinks that we don't know. Now I'm telling him that we know. My father cried. So fast forward now, I left the hospital, but I was still not moving. I left the hospital the same way I got in. Like, the pain was a little reduced because of all the painkillers they were pumping into me and everything, but I was still feeling so much pain. I could not lift my leg, I could not turn. I was just bedridden, like on one spot. Anything I want to do, I will need to be carried. You imagine, like, I could not stand, I could not do anything. So I left and went home. My dad now took me for therapy because when we were leaving the hospital, the doctor was like, oh, I have to do physiotherapy. So my dad took me for therapy to one place in mile 14, I think they call it the Arch. So went there for therapy and everything, but it was not helping me. Like, I could still not move, nothing to nothing. When that gate fell on me and then we did the x-ray, what the x-ray revealed was that I had like, my pelvic bone had shifted, my waist had, a lot of things had moved from where they were, you understand? So that was what was causing all that pain and the fact that I could not sit up properly. We went to the Arch, all that physiotherapy was not helping. We went back home. My dad, a lot of people were giving him ideas like, okay, go to this hospital, but that was not what was needed because of the whole dislocation and everything. We needed something that could bring back the pelvic and my waist and everything together. So somebody told my dad about this woman in Bokwango that they call Mami Manyaka. Hey, if you're Cameroonian, you know what Manyaka means. Like when I say I'll show you Manyaka, means that they'll show you Pepe, like they'll deal with you. So you can imagine her name is Mami Manyaka. That woman can press you for Africa. Hey, so we went for that therapy. Is it therapy even? We went there the first day. So since I could not move and everything, I was just lying at the back seat of the car and all that. She had to calm down. Her house is in Bukwango, so she had to calm down from her house to come and attend to me in the car. My God, remember when I told you that pain went from 1 million to 10 million? This time around, it went from 10 million to 500 million. Hey, that woman pressed my body, massaged my waist, twisted this one. I was shouting and crying in the car. People were passing and looking like, what's happening here? Because anyway, people around her are used to people shouting at her because she's always pressing people. I left and went that day to the house. Could I still move? No. That woman was like, okay, we have to come for a couple of sessions and things. So I went there for 2 sessions. Imagine that pain that I was feeling. That woman was pressing me with all kinds of rub. Oh my God. So I was home, I couldn't move, I couldn't stand. My cousins had to, when I want to sleep, they'll carry me to bed. In the morning when I'm up, they carry me and put me on the chair in the parlor. Like I was stationed in the parlor all through the day, and then later on I'll go. So that was my life. Now my father's cousin, so that happens to be my aunt, right? She's gifted with the whole, there are some people who are gifted with joining bones, massages and everything. So that's practically what Mami Manyaka does. But her own, she's really gifted with joining of bones and all that, massaging people, all those. So she was in Bamenda then, because her daughter used to stay in Bamenda. So she was in Bamenda in her daughter's house, and my father had not told her because he don't want her to worry, he don't want her to just get all up like, so he not tell her. Now I think they were chatting, and then they called or something, and then he told her, or I don't know how she knew, or it's my cousin who told her, something like that, but she sure knew. So when she heard, she packed overnight. The next day, early in the morning, she was in Boya in our house. She went and cut some leaves, so just regular. She went and to us, they're regular leaves, but she knows what she's mixing. So she went and cut some leaves, put in a pot, put some red oil, I don't even know, just basic things around the kitchen. That thing was hot. That thing, the leaves had to boil. She came in, struggle, carry me and turn me. Only the process of turning me was a whole war. That woman. See, Mami Sophie massaged me, like she pressed the hell out of me. I was shouting and screaming. I've never felt that kind of pain. I felt so much pain. She massaged me, and then she has to do that like morning and evening, every single day. She came and then she massaged me like that for like 4 days, and then I realized that I felt better. I started struggling to turn, I started struggling to sit up and things like that. So she kept encouraging me, like, okay, when she'll massage me, she'll say, try to turn this way. I will cry, I will struggle, I will turn, until finally one day, okay, let me tell you what happened. We had a friend's wedding, right? We had a friend's wedding to attend like the upper week, like the next week on Saturday. So originally I was like, people were planning for the wedding, Trina, all my friends, Marie, Bessie, Sue, everyone, Terrence, Leslie, everybody was planning to go for the wedding. But I was there on the bed. I could not move. So I could not move. Like, be thinking about going for a wedding or anything. No. Before that, somebody had advised my father to get me a wheelchair. But another person told him that if he gets me a wheelchair, like, what's the push for me to try to move or anything? I'll just sit on the wheelchair and continue pushing myself, and it's not going to help me. So instead, he should get me crutches. So my father went and bought crutches for me. They bought crutches for me. I could not stand, I could not do anything. But after those 4 days of massage, morning and night, I could stand a little. So when I stand, I'll just stand and support myself on the crutch. Now, this day, after she had massaged me, I felt so much better. I told her that I want to try to stand. She's like, yes, that's the spirit. You think I'm massaging you so that you sit down. Try and stand. I stood up that day. I held her. We're moving bit by bit. Terrence was there. He held me this way. She held me this way. We're moving bit by bit. Like, it took me almost 10 minutes to move 3 steps. That's how bad it was. A few days to that wedding, I told them that now, me like this, I will go for that wedding. Everybody was looking at me as if I'm mad. I told them that, see, I've been complaining that don't over massage me, gentle. Just go gently, don't massage me too much. I told her this time that, press me, like, use all your energy and press me. I must get up and walk, and I must go for that wedding. So she massaged me. I struggled until I stood up on my own, like, I held the crutches and I was going one step at a time. Everybody in my house started shouting, hey! My auntie was shouting and crying. Auntie Grace she was excited. My sisters were happy. My father was happy. My mouth started passing again. little by little I started struggling again to maybe leave one of the crutch, hold the other one, and move until your girl came back to moving on her own. Guys, it was a hell of a time for me and my family, especially considering the fact that, oh, my grandmom just died, my cousin just died, so everybody's fingers were crossed, like, please God, like, it should not happen. Like, if that happened, maybe immediately after that my father would have died next, because he was so, you know what it means to lose your mom, you lose your niece, and then now get done for until you're picking, like, where's the way forward? So it was just a terrible moment for my family and my friends. I thank God for the people in my life. My friends are extraordinary. Like, I love you all. My family is out of this world. Like, I cannot even get people to understand. But above all, right, I just decided to tell you this story, like, to thank God for life. Like, sometimes we take life for granted, we take a lot of things for granted. There are people who have just had a slight headache and they have died, and there are people who went to bed without any condition and they did not wake up the next morning. But I'm just grateful that I can look back to it and laugh or make fun or get to talk to you about it, because I'm just grateful to God that I'm here and life continues. So yep, that's my story of how I almost lost my life, guys. So tell me in the comment section if you have ever had any life-threatening situation or somebody around you or things like that. And maybe if I have a lot of comments and a lot of stories, I'll do a video just reading out your stories so that, you know, people are grateful. It will encourage people to be grateful for life and to live their best life in the moment. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.